I had no idea that Slutty Vegan would become a $100 million brand.
Yeah.
Not many people in the world can say that their wildest dream has come true. I can honestly and genuinely say that.
Yeah.
I'm about to tell you something so truthful. I don't want everybody in my company just to look like me. What I'm building is a universal brand. It is hard, right? To chase whatever it is that you're chasing. This ain't for the faint of heart. I would come in the house and my kids would run right past me. Part of me is like, well, I'm doing this for them. And I started having guilt. One of the biggest opportunities in our marriage is that when I raised $25 billion, he didn't raise money for his business. His business is still right here, still doing great things, but he's not getting the notoriety that my business is getting.
Yeah.
He's one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met in my life. Then you see articles that say Pinky's husband.
What has been your biggest lesson? Because you have multiplied at a rapid rate.
This is a cautionary tale to anybody that is running business. And I'm gonna break this down so clear, so for the people that are watching this is very important.
Welcome to Vault Empowers Talk. So we don't just scratch the surface. We dive deep into the lives of some of the world's most influential change makers. I'm your host, Brandi Harvey. This is one in the making, y'all. I get to introduce this phenomenal woman who's sitting across from me. Pinky Cole Hayes is the owner and visionary of Slutty Vegan and Bar Vegan restaurants. The company's revenues grew to $4 million within the first 6 months of its grand opening. Her company, Slutty Vegan, has been valued at over $100 million. In her latest book, I Hope You Fail, Pinky pushes you out of your comfort zone so that you are able to recognize the full value of your product and gives you tools to succeed in business and in life. With her philanthropic endeavors, the Pinky Cole Foundation focuses on empowering generations of color to win in life, financially, and in the pursuit of their entrepreneurial dreams. In 2023, she was added to the Time magazine's 100 Next list, recognizing individuals with an outsized influence on American culture. Pinky believes if you want to be a disruptor, there will be some disruption. Vault Empowers Talks welcome entrepreneur, author, philanthropist, franchiser, producer, wife, mother, and fearless overcomer, Pinky Cole Hayes to the show.
I need to do this right now. Like I'm about to get in the ring. That was good.
Thank you. It is a pleasure.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here finally.
Listen,
Yes.
you know what? Everything in due time, in due
Yes.
season. So I believe everything happens for a reason, and this is
Agreed.
the day you are supposed to be here.
In this moment,
Yeah,
in this time.
yeah.
And I'm excited to have this
Yeah,
conversation.
to talk about all the powerful things you were doing in the world. You were this little girl who grew up with a mom who was an entrepreneur, a father who was sentenced to prison the day you were born, and you learned a lot from those two worlds that you lived in.
I did. So, it's funny because the day that I was born, he was being sentenced,
Yeah.
right? So my siblings had mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
And I had mommy and godmom and sister
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
of the village.
Yeah.
But what I learned growing up is I learned how to be committed to a thing. My mother has worked at the same job.
Yeah.
She would cringe if she heard me say this. 37 years she's been at the same place.
Wow.
I've been trying to retire my mother for the last 3 years. But I watched her be an entrepreneur because she's a musician.
Yeah.
Work at the same company. She done worked at McDonald's. She was working at the bank where she was cashing checks and still coming home and being mommy to 4 kids.
Yeah.
And then my father, meanwhile, obviously he was an entrepreneur too, but it
Yeah.
wasn't so legal, right?
Yeah.
So he was in prison and he would call me and teach me about stocks and books and what to
Yeah.
read
Yeah.
and how to be an entrepreneur. So I got the very best of both worlds. I know how to work for people and be the best in that field,
Yeah.
but I also know how to work for myself and be a hustler and be a risk taker. So all of my life, I saw my mother work so hard and I'm like, that ain't never gonna be me. Like, I'm not gonna live no regular life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't shading my mother,
No.
but I knew how hard she worked to get the little that she got. I wanted to work hard and get a lot.
Yeah.
And I started throwing parties as a kid, doing all of these things.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like the beginning of who I shaped myself to be as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Who also started off as a teacher and Teach for America, but that lasted, 5 days?
5 days.
5 days. You said, you know what it's like not to have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never forget it. I was Miss Clark Atlanta University.
Yeah.
And if you know what HBC is, right? So you the queen of the school, like you are Miss America, basically.
Yeah.
So here I am. I'm the head Delta. I'm the VP of the organization. I ended up being DP. If you don't know what that is, that's the Dean of Pledges. Okay, that's a whole nother podcast. And having 21 credits, being Miss CAU all at the same time. And by the time I graduated, I could not get a job. Here I am, the most popular girl on campus. Yeah. Everybody knows me. Everybody loves me. But I could not find a job until Teach for America came around. And I'm like, I do not want to be a teacher.
Listen, everybody, I consider Teach for America. One of my best friends who went to Spelman did Teach for America. And that's what took her to Brooklyn. And I considered it, but child, I was a teacher though.
Yeah,
I taught in Los Angeles. Yeah.
I'm a teacher too, but not in the classroom.
So I learned that, yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna do this for 5 days. My mother was like, you just need to do it. It was in the height of the recession. And I'm like, damn. All right, I'm gonna be a teacher, but like I barely graduated, but here we are, right? So I moved to Houston, Texas with my dog Rudy. I ain't had no money.
Yeah.
And the job was offering $45,000 a year.
Yeah.
At the time, I ain't had 2 pennies to rub together. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
I moved to Houston, and I remember on the 5th day, I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And my friend, his name is Lyric, shout out to Lyric, he gave me $40 to go back to the airport. And when I went to the airport, there was this guy who had on a Southwest airline, you know, the little outfit with the little reflector. And he came up to me. He's like, what's wrong with you? Just like that. Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you? And I just bust out crying. I'm like, I'm just trying to figure out my life. Like, I'm in a position where I don't want to be here. And I feel like I'm selling myself short. He said, I'll be right back. Do you know this man walked away? And he came back with $240. And this was during the time of AirTran.
Yeah.
AirTran, right? So he gave me $240. It was enough to get me and my dog Rudy on the plane. And I never looked back after that. And it's a full circle moment now, because had I not made that decision to accept the $40, to go to the airport, to accept the $240, I probably wouldn't sit here having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it just taught me that no matter what it is, if it don't make my belly leap, I'm not doing it. Yeah. If it doesn't excite me, I can't do it. Yeah. If I'm doing it for the wrong reasons, it'll never work. And ever since that moment, it was just a turning point for my career and who I became as a woman.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you talk about it in the book. I think the book, I Hope You Fail, we actually did it in our book club over Elevate. And I think you give so many of those nuggets and those moments about the power of the pivot, because I think all these little moments showed that you were unafraid to just turn a new corner and take a new direction, no matter where it took you, which then it took you into television. Yeah. And you were working for Maury, the Maury Show, child. You was
you are not the father.
You are not the father. No, running in the back.
Running with cameras and everything. Listen. And what's so crazy is it's so real.
Yeah.
It's nothing fake about it. Can you imagine? Like, people really do this in real life?
You really question the mental stability of people who get on there to do paternity tests.
You do, but you know what I realized and what I learned from that show? All Black people don't have problems. It ain't just us.
No.
Everybody got problems, and it don't matter what color you are. I've experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
But that was one of the greatest experiences of my life, because it taught me how to deal with people, right? You know, God got a funny way of setting you up.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, I didn't even realize that I was going to meet people 101 course, right? By meeting people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, so that when I created something called Slutty Vegan, now I got Black people, white people, Asian, Indian, people from around the world, and I know how to deal with them because I've been here before. You know what I'm saying? So like, the lessons always just happen when you least realize it, and I'm just so grateful for those kind of experiences.
Yeah, talk about lessons. Talk about lessons in investing in your business, and having no fire insurance is what led you to having to even pivot out of your first restaurant business, a Jamaican spot in New York.
Yep. So when I was a producer for the Maury Show, one of my friends, he owns a famous restaurant in New York called Rusty's, and he was like, Pinky, it's this restaurant that you should take, and you can sublet the restaurant. I'm like, well, I ain't never been no restaurateur. I like to eat food. I don't really like to cook it, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, I'll do that. And I got this restaurant, didn't know nothing about the restaurant business. So I just got to researching. I ain't stupid, right? So I'm like, let me go on Google, let me go on YouTube. And I started learning everything about the business. I opened up my first restaurant literally by way of the internet. I ain't had no mentors helping me or nothing. Literally by the internet. And when I opened up my doors, I had a line down the block. But I wasn't in alignment.
Cause you were vegan and you were selling jerk chicken and
Oxtails,
oxtails.
ackee and saltfish, okay, brown stew chicken.
Yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
well, how does taste? It's good. But I was lying to myself and I was
Yeah.
lying to the people.
Yeah.
And a part of the reason why I'm so authentic in my life is because when you do not be real with yourself and other people, it'll never work out for you.
Yeah.
And that was the one experience that I needed to happen so that it would never happen again. So long story short, had the restaurant in 2014 to 2016. 2016, I closed my restaurant at 11:30 p.m. I went home. I picked up the phone because I got a call from the fire department saying, Miss Cole, because I went Miss Hayes then. Miss Cole, can you come to the restaurant? Your restaurant is on fire. And here I am. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
So I couldn't believe it. You know, when
Yeah.
things happen to
Yeah.
you in life,
Yeah.
you get in a state of shock and you're
Yeah.
like, no, this ain't real. I went to my restaurant, smoke everywhere. They had just put the fire out and I realized that it was a grease fire. I thought that I closed everything, right? And it was a grease fire. And I'm like, okay, cool. I got fire insurance. Wrong. I didn't.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it wasn't a requirement. So I was being cheap and getting the basics just to cover me.
Yeah.
But I realized when you cut corners in life, it'll always bite you in the back.
Yeah.
And after that, I lost everything.
Yeah.
My car got repoed. I got kicked out of my apartment. I went flat broke. I was already in a bad relationship in the first place, right?
Yeah.
But little did I know that that was my saving grace.
Yeah.
I needed that to happen, even if it felt like I was losing it all and a rug was being pulled up from under me.
Yeah.
I needed it to happen because guess what it did? It set me up for even a bigger opportunity, even bigger success. And let me tell you how God is so real. So after losing that restaurant, almost feeling like I was going to lose my mind, I got a call to work on a healing show called Iyanla Fix My Life. Now, how ironic is that?
Yeah.
I'm going through a depression, and then I get a job to help other people go
Yeah.
through their stuff
Yeah.
and go through their depressions. And I said, if this is not God just
Yeah.
playing a trick on me, I'm like, what is happening? But guess what? I needed that.
Yeah.
Because when I started working on the show, while they thought that I was helping putting them in position to get the healing that they needed, I was getting the therapy and the healing that I needed at the same time. And it was preparing me for Slutty Vegan.
Yeah. What did it teach you about yourself in that moment?
That I am always a work in progress. And everything can be modifiable. If it looked bad today, it don't gotta look bad tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's about how you shift your mindset.
Yeah.
Even now, like I'm in transition in my business. Right. And I'm like, okay, yesterday I made a joke off camera. I ate a bug yesterday in a salad. Right. And I'm like, all right, today is a better day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so even in the moments where it seems difficult, all you got to do is just really shift your perspective and realize that every day don't always got to be a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so hard for people to do that sometimes because everybody is they're looking for the $1 million moment every step of the way. And most people can't see that if I just keep moving in this second and be present, that something is going to shift.
Let me tell you something about chasing that $1 million moment. And I'm evolving as an entrepreneur, so I can only be real. Okay.
Yeah.
You chase that $1 million moment, you're going to have $1 million problems. You're going to have $1 million lawsuits.
Oh, well,
million
listen, you
million
know
dollar
that.
bills.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know
So
that.
like, it's
Yeah.
not always roses and petals all of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So everything that I do now has to be, and I've always been like that historically, but it gotta be super intentional for me because I can't chase money. It ain't never gonna work for me.
Yeah.
And I'm encouraging any entrepreneur that's watching this that money can't be the reason why you just move, right?
Yeah.
You gotta feel it in your spirit. It gotta feel right to you because guess what? At the end of the day, it'll all come back to you, good, bad, or indifferent. So it is hard, right? To chase whatever it is that you're chasing. Some people just chasing freedom. Some people chasing notoriety. Some people chasing the fact that they want to create generational wealth for their family. Whatever your reason is up to you.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, in that chase, you got to make sure that there's some intention behind that.
Yeah.
And you got to be intentional about that. And when you're intentional about it, even in the days that it seems hard, it'll all work out for you.
Yeah. How are you intentional when you started Slutty Vegan? Because
So-
this is 2018 at this point.
This was 2018.
You go work for Iyanla for 2 years.
Yeah.
You were on the show for 2 years.
Yep, they called me and they asked me to come to Atlanta to work on the show. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm in Atlanta. My sorority sisters are down here. My friends are here. No brainer. So I'm in my 2-bedroom apartment. I was tired of eating Chick-fil-A side salad and fries. And I'm like, I want some food on a late night.
Yeah.
And, there's so many other great restaurants, vegan restaurants in Atlanta, but they all close pretty early.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, what can I do? Right? Here I am, the person that once lost it all. My wages got garnished after everything that happened. And I'm just rebuilding. I fixed my credit. I did everything. And at that moment, let me tell you the space that I was in. I was running 5 miles a day, every single day.
Raw vegan.
I'm raw vegan right now, by the way, which is why I'm on like 1,000.
I know, yeah.
So I was raw vegan. I was running 5 miles a day. I was reading a book a day.
Yeah.
So I knew that I was getting ready for something. I just didn't know that it was going to come in the vessel of Slutty Vegan.
Yeah.
So when I started the concept, I'm like, all right, cool. I want to create something that just will be on the side. Like I got my dream job right now.
Yeah.
I'm making $5,000 a week. I'm straight,
Yeah.
right? That's what I thought, right? But God had bigger plans for me. So when I started the concept, I grew up Jamaican. So I didn't grow up eating burgers and fries.
Yeah.
We grew up eating like Ito food. My mom's a vegetarian. So I started the concept and I had no idea that Slutty Vegan would become a $100 million brand.
Yeah.
I just thought that this was going to be something as a redemption for the last thing I lost. Because I'm competitive. I'm like, all right, that ain't work out. I got to do it again because I ain't about to lose. And when I did it, everything happened so seamlessly. Because let me tell you, and I'm going to break this down so clear. So for the people that are watching this is very important. When I had my Jamaican restaurant, I did not eat meat, but I was selling it. So one, I wasn't in alignment. Here I am with Slutty Vegan. I'm vegan.
Yeah.
I get to share with people the thing that I love to be.
Yeah.
This is my lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Then I get to make money off of my lifestyle. And then I get to build community by way of my lifestyle. That is what you call purpose.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, every single thing aligned for me. I'm talking about like no hiccups, no problems, no nothing. Like it'd be days where I would have to pinch myself like, is this really happening for me?
Yeah.
And some days it was happening so rapidly that I couldn't even believe it because I've been in the trenches with it so long.
Yeah.
So that alignment and the intention to your question got to be so on point if you're building something, because if you build it right and the energy around it is right, then it will all work out for you.
Yeah. I am 1,000% with you. Yeah. That alignment is so key.
It's key.
My word for the year is overflow. And I've been experiencing God's overflow. And somebody said it's only because you're in alignment, Brandi. Yeah.
Only. Yeah.
You talk about redemption, though. This was your redemptive business. And a redemption comes in the form of $100 million business, over 13 locations, 5+ in construction right now, airports on the way, all of the things. What has been your biggest lesson in this multiplication factor? Because you have multiplied at a rapid rate. And so what has been your biggest lesson?
Oh, girl, so much. I just had a board meeting yesterday. Okay, you should have asked me that yesterday. My biggest lesson, the reason why I'm so transparent about business is because everybody sees my brand and my business. They're like, oh, it's this perfect brand. And like everybody love it. Yes, it's a great brand. But I struggle sometimes, right? Like every day is not always a pretty day. Yes, I got all of those stores and I have all of these things happening. But on the flip side, you need money to make money.
Yeah.
I raised $25 million for my business. It costs $875,000 to build one Slutty Vegan if you do the math.
So you're $875,000 per location to launch.
Per location.
Your husband came on here and he said he's $750,000 per location.
But I got an experienced brand, so I got the whole frills. He just opened up and some cheesesteaks, okay? I could say that because that's my husband, right? So like it cost me a little more to open up. So you got to imagine scaling a business. The biggest companies in the world are going bankrupt.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money, but the overhead is crazy.
Yeah.
So my biggest lesson that I have learned, and I've never said this out loud, is you got to keep your overhead low. Do you know last year my overhead was $10 million.
For all locations.
For all of my locations. That is high. That's a lot of money. Yeah. And I'm only being transparent because I want somebody to learn from the things that I've gone through.
Yeah.
So now what I've learned from that lesson is you got to have aces in places. Before, I used to put bodies in spaces just because they had heart, but I need a little bit more than heart.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I need a little bit more than heart.
Yeah.
I need talent.
Yeah.
I need people who are talented, who are just as, if not more smarter than me. Because when you have the right talent, then you have the right systems. When you have the right systems, then you have the right business. When you have the right business, you make more money. And when you make more money, you can provide opportunities and resources to more people. So you see the domino effect that happens. That was a big lesson that I'm learning in real time. Real time. So real that I even took myself off of payroll. That's how real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because I pay myself a good amount of money, but I'm like, listen, the needs of the business come first. And as an entrepreneur, you got to know how to like stick and move.
Yeah.
You got to make decisions. And I do well outside of Slutty Vegan, right? I do a lot of speaking engagements, but you really got to know like how to maneuver in business, because this ain't for the faint of heart.
No.
There's times where I get emails, a text bill was like 100. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you really gotta know how to like stick and move. So I learned those kind of lessons every single day. So is it hard? Absolutely. But I would not trade it for the world. I cannot see myself doing anything else except for building this empire, inspiring people who look like me, and for the ones who don't look like me, to be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah. In real time. You didn't grow up with people who were married in your family. You didn't see that happening. And so you're married and you're about to celebrate your wedding anniversary. And you say you guys are experiencing marriage and learning this in real time. And so how is it juggling wifehood, motherhood, entrepreneurship, you know, all of the things for you?
It's ghetto. It's ghetto. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's ghetto. But I love him. I'm gonna stick beside him. Okay. You know, it's funny because nobody really talks about that part, right?
Yeah.
So Derek and I, it's about to be 4 years that we've been together.
Yeah.
When I met him, I got pregnant 3 months after we met.
Listen, he talked about it when he came on the show. He said, listen, y'all were like,
you're not going nowhere.
Listen, y'all.
You on Slutty Vegan? You mine.
Son in my belly. Where were y'all at? Y'all went on your first date? Listen.
We went to Sunflower Cafe.
Sunflower Cafe. Yeah.
Yep. So when I met him, it was beautiful, man. It wasn't even supposed to end up like this.
Yeah.
It was just, you a restaurateur, I'm a restaurateur. Somebody busted the windows to your restaurant.
Yeah.
I got some money, I can help you. What's up?
Yeah.
And it turned into the most beautiful, complex love story that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
He ain't my type, I probably not is, right? But it just worked out that way, right? And when I say I love that man dirty drawers, and I love him for more reasons than one. One, because a doctor told me that I could not have children.
Yes, I saw this in the interview that
And
you did.
And not only did I have one, I had a baby in 21, in 22, and in 23.
You've been pregnant the last 3 years.
Yes, I've been pregnant for the last 3 years. And hold on, it's ladies that watch this, right? Okay, I had to get an IUD because I'm like, I cannot play no more, okay? But that just shows me that God has aligned him to me.
Yeah.
Because now I can't stop having kids.
Yeah.
When once upon a time, I gave up on having kids.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like just thinking about it now.
Yeah.
And I got little people running around here calling me mommy.
Yeah.
And I just thought that I was going to be the fly auntie. Like it's just a feeling that you can't describe. So that's the first piece of it. The second piece is that he's in the same industry that I'm in. So when I'm having a moment where I'm ready to throw in the towel, he right there, he gonna get that towel and throw it back at me. Like, nope, we gonna get through this. We're gonna rock out. And you need somebody like that understands the language of the business that you're in.
Yeah.
And who else better to do it than your partner?
Yeah.
So when I'm laying beside him, we can talk about cost of goods and the economy is going down and like we seeing the dip in business or the business is doing good today and what's happening. Like I can identify with that. I love that about him. And then the fact that we get to build this empire together. So those are all the positives, okay? Because I can only be real. I'm gonna give you the parts that are opportunities.
Yeah.
One of the biggest opportunities in our marriage is that when I raised $25 billion, he didn't raise money for his business. So we're in a relationship. We make the same kind of revenue, but he's a black man and I'm a black woman, right?
Yeah.
And I get this money to grow my company and I go off in the world and be great. And he still is beside me and his business is still right here, still doing great things, but he's not getting the notoriety that my business is getting.
Yeah.
And I'm just being totally honest. So then I started having guilt, success guilt. And he didn't do anything wrong. He was still being supportive and everything.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, damn, like here I am. I can't even appreciate the success because the person that I love the most, he deserves to be right here with me. And he's right here with me, beside me. But then you see articles that say Pinky's husband.
Yeah. Yeah.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Like Pinky had a baby.
Yeah.
So now it starts to affect the household because he's one of the most brilliant men that I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
He has an amazing business. He has an amazing business model. He makes a lot of revenue. He does well, but he wasn't getting the recognition the same time that I was getting it. And that's how we met. So I think that caused some tension in the relationship in the beginning, but we have finally gotten over that hurdle. And I'm being totally raw and honest with you because in relationships, it feels good when you are equally bound to the things that you desire, right? So now, when I tell you I'm so proud of this man, he just opened in Charlotte, lying down the block every day.
Yeah.
He franchising. He almost at almost 30 locations.
Yeah.
So he's in his
Florida,
everywhere, South Carolina.
10 in Florida,
yes.
yeah.
So now he is in his moment. So now it's big days and his wife. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me be the wife. I want to be a housewife anyway. But that was the challenging part. But in marriage, and I ain't been in it that long, I realized that like there are going to be ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
And you just got to stick beside the person that you love. And I love him and I'm going to stick beside him.
I love the honesty because I think that is the part that, you know, I have looked at, you know, when I see you all, because you all are both tracking and running the same pace in the same race. And I do see that you sometimes are the one that is the, you know, put out more in the forefront. And I always wondered, you know, how that dynamic will play out.
It was hard for a long time. Because he'd be the one giving me the ideas, right? He's like, oh, you need to do this. I'm like, oh, that's good, baby. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? But now I'm so proud. And he feels it too. Like, it's almost like you put a little light under the pilot. Like, it just lit his spirit all over again. And, you know, I'm with a Black, beautiful man, right?
Yeah.
So like nurturing him is important because he already got to face the world.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have to face me at home.
Yeah.
So now I'm just so proud that this man with locks and 41 tattoos who from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is finally in his moment because there's so many boys that are looking up to him and say, listen, I can be whoever I want to be and be like that because Big Dave's did it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that because I think people do need to hear that part of the ebbs and the flows and the always not rosy parts of relationship and being in relationship. You know, it leads me to wonder, you know, you are such a busy woman. You are jet setting every week. You are here, there, and everywhere, whether you're speaking at a conference, a summit, you're having to go check on your franchises in different cities and locations. You know, sometimes you might feel a bit of mom guilt of not being present, you know, for your children's moments because you have little babies and then y'all have children together that Derek had. So you have 5 children total?
5.
Yeah. You went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Real quick. Yeah, so we got 5 kids and you know, it's funny because my mom guilt used to be bad. It's mild now, but oh God, it used to be bad. And it used to be bad because I am so busy. When I tell you, I usually have like 16 calls a day. Like of the 16, it's like 5 interviews, 3 are on camera. So like I'm always just moving and shaking. And my mom is our nanny. So the kids are always home with us.
And then Derek's grandmother is also with you guys.
She is. Her birthday is today. She just turned 92. Yes. Yeah. So she has been like the pseudo nanny, right? So my mother, Derek's mother, his grandmother is literally our village.
Yeah.
They help us to raise these kids. We cannot do it by ourselves. He's equally as busy as I am. Yeah. So in the very beginning, right, I started to feel really bad. Like it almost felt like I was falling into a state of depression because I'm like, I would come in the house and my kids would run right past me.
Wow.
And they wanted to go to my mom. And I used to be like, what is wrong with me? And, you know, obviously, if it's going to be anybody, I want it to be my mom. Yeah. But I never wanted to be the mother where my kids grow up and have an affinity to their grandparent more than the person that birthed them. Yeah. So I literally dealt with that guilt for a lot. I'm talking about in the shower, I'd be crying. And I'm like, so I would fight with myself because a part of me is like, well, I'm doing this for them. Yeah. But then the other part of me is just like, I don't want to miss the most important moments of their lives because I'm chasing this thing. So I heard a lady speaking one day and she said, listen, you shouldn't have to compromise who you are. you love entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
You love your kids.
Yeah.
So you just got to figure out a way to compartmentalize it. When you're on business time, it's 100% business. And when you come home, even if it's 30 minutes that you're going to devote to your kids, I'm making that up, but make sure that I'm making sure that it's uninterrupted, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that it's uninterrupted and you give your children the time that they deserve. Because guess what? Even if it's 5 hours versus all day, they're going to remember those moments that you were fully present. Yeah. And after that, it shifted my perspective and my mindset. And I'm like, you know what? That is so real. Yeah. I'm going to do that more often. And that's exactly what I started to do. And I even started to incorporate my children and taking them out more, right? And like having them around me more because they understand that I'm busy. They're old enough to understand it. But like just picking up from school is like a big victory for me. Yeah. So is it a work in progress? Absolutely. Being a CEO, running a company, and being a mom and being a wife, right? And helping to lead a household is not easy at all, but I like to be honest about it because I know that I'm not the only person that's dealing with this.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Do you have dreams for your children for entrepreneurship?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So I've already started giving my daughter singing classes. It's so crazy because you can look at children and you can like, I know what you're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter, when she was little, I always just sung happy birthday to her, always, every single day. So now I'm like, Dee Dee, let's sing happy birthday. And we always sing. And I realized, damn, I just had a full circle moment. Let me tell you what happened. Beyonce's concert came out in the movie theaters. And my mother was out of town, so we had no babysitter. I said, okay, so we bringing Dee Dee with us. So we brought her with us to the movie theaters, and that was her first time ever going to the movies.
Oh, wow.
And when I say it was a twinkle in this little girl's eye,
wow.
And after that moment, she would not stop singing. That's why it is so important to pay attention to what your children are consuming.
Yes.
Because she saw Beyonce. I'm going to meet Beyonce one day, and I'm going to tell her this story. She saw Beyonce, and ever since that, all she does is scream and sing around the house. So I said, I got to give my baby some singing lessons. So now she takes singing lessons every Saturday.
And how old is she?
She's 2.
Okay.
Yeah. The girl was smart. Her and my son, they go to Montessori school. Like they are not like, they are really 5-year-olds.
I believe it. They're your children.
Yes,
I am not surprised by this. I'm tracking with you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I feel like she's going to be a singer. And my son, my middle son, DJ, I think he's going to be an athlete. He's very strong. Yeah. Right? Very strong, but soft and gentle-hearted. So he gives me athlete energy. So we're going to put him in some sports.
And listen, I'm the auntie, right? So my sister has my nephew BJ. He'll be 8 years old. Mm-hmm. And we knew from him being a little kid that he was going to be an athlete. He was always very strong, just like you said. He was just super, I mean, like he could just climb on anything. And he had like lats and like back muscles at 2. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, look at your abs. You look fit, boy. I see you. You know, so now, he's in AAU basketball and
he's 8?
Oh yeah. But
wow.
he'll be 8 in 2 weeks. He balls. He's athletic. Yeah.
That's how my baby is. He's so strong.
Yeah.
Oh, if he wants something from me, he'd take it out of my hand. I'd be like, boy, you better stop. But my young son, I got a 5-month-old. So I don't know who he gonna be yet because he don't even look like me. I'm like, is this my baby? I'm like, is that the mailman baby Derek? But I don't know who he's gonna be. But he's so gentle and like quiet and peaceful. Yeah. You ever seen a baby that's just peaceful, like don't really do too much, don't cry. And I'm like, he is the calm that I need in my chaotic life.
And he's the last one. Yeah. So he's
the last.
Yeah, he's the last. So he kind of knows he is. Yes. He's the finisher. He's the closer. He's the closing act.
The closer. Yes.
Yeah. He's absolutely. The closer. Yeah. What have they taught you about yourself?
Patience. I used to be mean.
I'm
being honest.
Okay.
Not mean like people call it mean, but I'm very clear and direct. It's a difference, right? I want what I want and I want things a certain way. And I think that's that military mindset. Like I pay attention to the little things and I feel like that is a part of the reason why I've been able to amass so much success because I'm very meticulous, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But what they taught me is that you have to use your soft skills a little bit more. Yeah. So I'm very patient now. So old Pinky used to be cussing everybody out. Yeah. Like if something's going on in my restaurant, I'm mad, I'm cutting. And I don't do that no more. Yeah. So I'm a lot calmer than I used to be because of my children, because they require me to be. I am soft now. And I'm like, damn, I done turned into a softie. Yeah. But my approach is different, especially in business. Yeah. So if things aren't going the way that I want them to, it's no longer Pinky's yelling and going crazy and just getting all emotionally out of my space and my spirit. Now I'm gonna just cut the wings and cut my losses and keep it moving.
Yeah.
And my children taught me that. So that level of patience I did not have until I had kids. And I'm so grateful now because it's just, who wants to be angry and mad all the time? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So they helped me do that, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. You know, you're so busy. You have the 16 calls a day and interviews. How do you find time to recalibrate? What do you do to recalibrate your system?
What's the definition of recalibrate?
How do you do your reset? How do you recover? You know, you put a lot out into the world, so is it therapy? Is it journaling? Is it meditation? Do you have a practice that is a part of your daily routine?
I really like massages.
Yeah.
I get massages like 4 times a week. I just like to
really
be rubbed
good.
on.
Yeah, I know that's right. Me too. I'm with you.
I really
on that.
do.
Yeah.
Like that is probably the best form of self-care because, when somebody is rubbing on you, it really gets into your nervous system.
Yeah.
And I have anxiety with the business just naturally, right?
Yeah.
So when I get massages, it calms me. So I get that a lot. That's kind of a way for me to kind of like reset. But when I think about the big picture, this is my dream.
Yeah.
Like, not many people in the world can say that their wildest dream has come true. I can honestly and genuinely say that.
Yeah.
So it has only felt like work one time for me.
Really?
And the minute that it started feeling like work, I'm like, I fell out of love with, I'm being so real with you.
Yeah.
There came a time in my life, in the life of Slutty Vegan, where I fell out of love with the business.
What brought it on? What happened?
I put people in position to run the company. And I stopped running it. My hands stopped touching it. And this is a cautionary tale to anybody that is running business. Never take your hands off the wheel. Because when you take your hands off the wheel, there's a sort of disconnection. When you don't see somebody for a long time, you stop thinking about them. So I stopped thinking about it every day.
Yeah.
So I felt out of love with the business. The passion and the drive wasn't there anymore. And then it reflected in the business.
Yeah.
So now that I'm back in the business as of January, now that I'm done having kids, I'm back in love with the business. It feels so good again. So I don't have to find time to find the balance because I'm back in, it's almost like a first date.
Yeah.
Like I'm back in love all
back
over
in love,
again.
yeah.
Like I got that spirit that I had in 2018. And it's okay to fall in and out of love in business.
Absolutely.
People don't talk about that. But it's okay. Sometimes you need to step away so that when you come back, you realize, okay, I need to do some things differently.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the space that I'm in right now. And because I love it again so much, I don't feel like I have to cut it off and okay, I need a break from this because I'm in it and I'm happy to be back in it.
Yeah. What are you doing differently?
Well, for starters, I cut more than half of my corporate.
Oh, wow.
And I want to be clear, they weren't bad people, but I had to trim the fat. Remember I said my corporate was so high.
Yeah, overhead, 10 million.
Yeah, my overhead was so high, so I had to cut a lot of people. And it wasn't just people, places, and things. I had to get rid of a lot of things that were no longer serving me.
Yeah.
What happened is I am growing so fast that there were a lot of things that I got early on that I didn't need it just yet, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm going back to basics. And it might include closing a store or two, right? And I'm saying this for the first time, but I realize that I have to make certain changes because the economy is shifting.
Yeah.
So I got to roll with the times, right?
Yeah.
And I got to be okay with that. And before, I used to battle and fight with that. I got a store in Athens right now that my first day opening in Athens, they were rioting and picketing out front of my restaurant because they didn't want me there. And that was a telltale sign. And here I am. That store had been closed for almost a year because it didn't work because the people probably didn't want me there.
Yeah.
Right. And I saw it the first day. So now that I'm back in my business, I am cutting things that are no longer serving the needs of the business.
Yeah.
And I'm really leaning out so that I can continue to get to where I want to be.
Yeah. You talk about in your book, which I hope you feel. I really enjoyed your book. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. We had a great discussion about it. But one of the things that you talked about in the book was oftentimes we're so focused on the closed door that we're not looking at the open window. Mm-hmm. And I think that you have always been able, just like you told the story about Athens, there's an open window, even while the door is closing.
And let me tell you what the open window can be. One thing about me is when somebody tells me no, or when a door closes for me, or even when a situation looked bad, it puts a battery on my back.
Yeah.
It's almost like the fuel that I need.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that that would be the gas
Yeah.
that you would need for your engine to keep going. But I'm like, okay, all right, these motherfuckers, excuse my language, got me got the wrong idea. They don't know who they dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? And as a result of that, it puts me in overdrive.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm climbing through the window, even when the doors are closed.
Yeah.
I'm climbing through the window, or I'm getting a shovel and I'm digging under the door.
Yeah.
You following what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm finding ways to get through to the other side. Some other people probably would have gave up and said, you know what, I ain't doing this no more.
Yeah.
But I'm not willing to lose, and I'm not willing to quit, and I'm not willing to stop giving it my all, because there's something so beautiful on the other side. All I got to do is just get there. That's it.
Yeah. What are you pressing towards right now? Is it just franchising more locations? Is it stepping into other businesses, or are you locked in on food franchises?
I am locked in on a lot of things. The first thing I'm locked in is finding the talent to take my business to the next level. So just like we have seasons, right? You got fall, winter, spring, and summer. Who served me in the fall may not serve me in the spring or the summer.
Yeah.
So I've gone through the last season of my business. So what I'm focused on now is bringing in a new class of people in this new season that will take my business to the next level, right? My company is a household name.
Yeah.
Right? People love I don't have stores in every single city, and people across the country know my brand.
Yeah.
So now I have to get the people who have the same ethos, the same mindset, the same thinking, the same hunger and drive and expertise to come in to be able to help take my business to the next level. That is purely my focus, because guess what? Everything else will fall in line after that. The franchises, the movies, because I'm going to do a Slutty Vegan movie coming up, right?
Yeah.
The real estate, the other opportunities, the partnerships, everything. All of those things are going to fall in place as long as I put the right talent in place. And that's really the space that I'm in right now.
Yeah. Do you find it hard, this new generation? You know, we hear so many things on social media. We have so many experiences when we're out, especially in the service industry. Are you finding there's a disconnect with this generation and things that you're looking for?
Well, you know, it's interesting because this generation, and young people especially, have something that I need.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, I still be trying to figure out TikTok. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they know the trends. I'm like, sexy who? Like, and I'm like, oh, that's her. Like, I'm behind the ball on a lot of things. Yeah. So I need young people.
You need the Gen Zers.
I need the Gen Zers. I need the knowledge. I need the education. But those are the same people that society has taught them that you can be famous and an entrepreneur on TikTok. So you don't need to go work for nobody.
Yeah.
So it's finding that healthy balance and encouraging young people that they can still be an entrepreneur within my space. And that's very difficult to do, but I'm navigating through it. And then I also need the wisdom from the older people, because y'all got chops under y'all belt. Y'all have the things that people need. So when I'm talking to somebody who is my age and older, right? Because I'll be 37 this year.
Millennial,
boomers.
Yeah.
I need that knowledge and the sophistication. So now you got the best of both worlds. You got the rawness and the realness, and then you got the reality and the realisticness of it all. And you merge those together, and you got a recipe for success. And not even just that. I also need the diversity.
Yeah.
People don't really talk about that, but I'm about to tell you something so truthful. I don't want everybody in my company just to look like me.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to see themselves. I want people from all walks of life. You know why? Because people in life have different experiences.
Yeah.
So if you come from India, your experience growing up in India is so much different from my experience growing up in Black America. So I need you to teach me your experiences so I can properly better communicate with the type of audience that comes into my store. And that serves for everybody. So what I'm building is a universal brand.
Yeah.
And I laugh with Derek and I'm like, you know, it's like a modern day Martin Luther King. Like, I'm bringing everybody together.
Yeah.
This is the most beautiful silent form of protest, because at the end of the day, food is energy and food ain't got no color.
Yeah.
So I want to bring people together in the name of love, and Slutty Vegan is doing that. So the diversity is important, the talent is important, getting people with wisdom is important, and also getting these Gen Zers are important as well.
I mean, Fawn Weaver, she was on the show. She talked about it. She talked about, I'm just looking for excellence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want people who are excellent at what they do.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what you're looking for. Excellence.
Excellence.
Yeah.
Excellence don't got no color.
No.
They
Yeah.
don't.
But it does have a standard.
It does have a standard. It does have
but
a
it
standard.
does have a standard. It
Yes.
does have a standard. So you talk about the standard. What is this missing piece right now in your business?
Oh, this is a good hiring platform. I need a chief of staff.
I just saw you posted you looking for food truck drivers.
When I say I'm in it, it is 2018 right now. Yeah, I'm gonna get what I want. My page is the yellow pages.
Yeah,
okay?
it is.
I need a chief of staff. I'm looking for an all-star president. I am looking for a COO. And right now, for the first time, I probably have like the best core team in my business. And now I'm just ready to connect the dots.
Yeah.
And bring in the best of the best. So that was a shameless plug. Okay, email me. human.resources@sluttyvegan.com. But yeah.
We will put it in the show notes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to put it in the show notes.
So that's what I'm looking for now. And I know that they're out there and I'm not rushing it. I'm waiting for the right person. Let me tell you, and entrepreneurs again. So before I never used to do a cognitive test with potential people that work for the company.
Yeah.
I just started doing that. And I just started making people go through like 4 rounds of interviews before it gets to me. So they do the interviews, then it gets to me. And if I like them, then they take a cognitive test. Yeah. And I did that because what do the biggest companies do? All of the biggest companies that you go to, they got to take these personality tests, these cognitive tests. Yeah. So I said, if I want to be best in class, I got to move like best in class. I got to walk like it, talk like it, look like it, sound like it. So I said, we're going to start taking cognitive tests so that I can understand the personality of the people that presumably will work in this company. And that's the best thing that I could have ever done as of late, because then I get to decide the type of person that I choose to work with when they come into my organization.
Yeah. Science is real.
It's very real. We
cannot skip it. Like, science is real. Data is real.
Yes.
You know, and the numbers do not lie.
They don't lie.
Yeah. We listen, that's why we can do all those tests online and you be like, oh, that's real. That's true.
It's real.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at the information that you learn. But again, because I only want excellence and I only want best in class.
Yeah.
Even if it costs me a little bit more money, I'd rather do it because I don't want to measure twice. I just want to cut once. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's really good. You know, you are an overcomer, and you talk about it in the book. All of the hurdles, all of the things that you've had to overcome, and you say you are a woman of faith. And so, how has faith played into your journey and your success?
If it wasn't for faith, I would not be here. Still growing a business. You know, I've been through a lot with Slutty Vegan.
Yeah.
I got sued. Let me tell you something.
You got sued, the police, the whole police situation under the George Floyd thing.
I'm watching the Golden. Oh, let me tell you a good one. So I'm in New York City the day before that I'm supposed to do the Today Show. Yeah. And it's my dream. What? The Today Show when they talk to me?
You tell the story in the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I met Gary Vee that night too. And I love him, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there eating, and my publicist called me like, Pinky, I got some bad news. And I'm like, okay, what's wrong? Like, night before, I'm staying at the Equinox. You know anything about the Equinox, it is not cheap. So money spent, everything.
Listen.
Okay. So I get the call, and she's like, I got some bad news. You know, the team over at the Today Show, like, you're in the news a lot for the lawsuit. Came on right after the Golden Globes. Like, I'm like, okay. And, you know, they don't really want to touch it right now. So they're going to reschedule for the future. And it broke my spirit. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm working this hard. And one thing about me, I don't play with people's money. Like, I only operate with integrity. I'm fair across the board. So there's this narrative that's being painted about me. And I'm like, it's not true.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what do you do when the world believes one thing and you really know the truth? So here I'm going to social media like, nah, like, let me talk to the people. And I'm like, damn, I got to defend myself.
And your publicist probably like, get me your phone.
Yeah, they didn't want me to do that. My lawyer didn't want me to do that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I don't care about none of this. Like, my name is all I got.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, the money can come and go. Yeah. The opportunities, the business can come and go. All I have is my name.
Come
and
on,
if I don't
have,
hello? If I ain't got nothing, for real, you can have the money. Just give me my name. Okay? For real, if I don't have a clean bill of health, it's like Carfax.
Yeah.
If I got too many accidents on my name, don't nobody want to buy the car. And that's just the truth.
Absolutely.
So I care so much about my name, but let me tell you about faith, because I want to tie this in together. I needed that to happen early on in my career. Because can you imagine if my business is a $5 billion brand and then this happened?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been prepared for it. I probably would have fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been ready.
Yeah.
But God was putting me in position to be ready for the hardest moments. But he said, I'm going to give it to you now when you got a little, so that when you got a lot, you've seen it before. You already got the experience. You can be a testimony to somebody else. So faith is so real. I should have closed Slutty Vegan a long time ago with some of the stuff that I've been through. And we still rocking, still moving. I ain't never missed a payment on nobody. Everybody gets paid every week. And I got 400 employees.
Wow.
Do you hear what I'm saying to you?
Wow.
I take care of 400 people. Every single, I got to cross my legs.
Go ahead, do it. Yeah.
Every single week.
Talk your talk.
Okay.
Listen, okay.
Payroll is, oh God.
Yeah.
Listen. So I say all that to say that nothing else has gotten me this far except for faith. Yeah. In moments when I feel defeated, God be like, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. Like I went to Dallas the other day and I was crying. It was just you ever just have a day?
Yes.
I just had a day. Everybody think that it's not always pretty all of the time. As an entrepreneur, when you really in it, like you're going to have some days. Yeah. So I was crying, man, and I was just having a really, really rough day. And I'm like, I just can't catch a break. It's just always something. What is going on, right? So I walked down the street in Dallas, and my sister Tim was with me, right? So I could tell he was trying to see what was wrong, and I'm like, move, leave me alone, right? So I walked and I sat down on a bench in downtown Dallas. And I sat on the bench and I'm just crying and I'm on the phone and I'm talking to my friend Melody. She owns Style Seat. You ever heard of Style Seat?
Melody's been on the show.
Okay, great. That's my girl, right? Yeah. So I'm on the phone venting to her, right? So like we sharing problems together because she's an entrepreneur too. So I'm on the phone venting with her. And this lady walked up to me and homeless, visibly drunk, right? But that ain't the point. The point of the matter is you could tell that she didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. Yeah. And she walked up to me and I'm bawling, crying. I'm like, all right, Mel, I'll call you right back. Boom. Right? And she was like, is everything okay? And I said, I'm okay. I'm just having a bad day. Tears are rolling down my eyes. Makeup is done for. Like, it's a wrap. I got an interview in 30 minutes after that, but it's a wrap because I just felt so defeated in that moment, right? So she walked up to me. She was like, you okay? You having a good day? And I'm like, I'll be okay. I'm just having a bad day. She walked past me a little bit and she turned around. She said, can I tell you something? I'm talking about she had nowhere to go and she probably didn't have no food to eat. Yeah. And she said, I want to tell you something. And I said, what's that? She was like, sometimes it's okay to have a bad day. Oh my gosh. When you talk about like Atlanta water break, water main break happened in my eyes and I could not, I'm bawling. Yeah. And I was bawling because it put so many things into perspective. Yeah. And I'm like, here I am complaining about things that people would dream of. Yeah. And I got somebody that have nothing by virtue, right? That's telling me that it's okay to have a bad day. And it made me realize that faith is really the only thing that carried me because I wouldn't have made it this far without that. And that was really God talking to me through that woman. It wasn't nobody else. That was God. Like, all right, here, I'm going to give you somebody and I'm going to show you that you need to stop complaining and it's going to get better. And it did. Yeah. It got better right after that.
Yeah. He always shows up through people.
Always shows up through people.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Wow. So as we begin to close out this interview, what's one word you're committed to in this season of your life?
One word. One word that I'm committed to. I'm committed to the word no. You got to follow me because this ain't the answer that you was looking for.
No, I love whatever answer you guys give me. Yeah.
I'm committed to the word no because every time I hear no makes me work harder. No makes me go into overdrive. No makes me work to the point where I am proving to myself that I can rise above what somebody may have said is no, this ain't gonna work, or no, I don't think that's a good idea, or no, I don't see the value, or no, this ain't gonna work. And I'm like, okay, because guess what that no is? It's really on, spelled backwards. So no is really on.
It's on now.
It's on. Yeah. When I tell you it's on, when somebody tell me no, and when I'm faced with hurdles, I'm like, it's on. So I'm committed to when people or things happen where it presents to me a no, because I always end up turning it on. And I know that might sound like backwards advice to people. But when you hear the word no, all you got to do is turn it on. Work harder, read more, research more, right? Like dive deeper in your faith, like work 2 more hours than you usually would. And I'm committed to that because in this season, I've gotten a couple of no's. Yeah. Right? And no's don't feel good when you've gotten a lot of yeses. So that season that's happening to me right now, I'm like, all right, I'm turning it all the way up. Like now I'm back, I'm turning it all the way on. And that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, turning it all the way on.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
So the last book that I read was Relentless.
Oh, by Tim Grover.
It's an amazing book.
One of my favorites.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
And why I like that book is I'm not an athlete, okay? I could not throw a football if you ask me.
I love athletes.
But I love athletes. And I particularly love athletes because athletes are the only people that constantly train, right? Yeah. So like you have to do the highest level of training if you want to be the best. Yeah. So think about it. There's so many people that play basketball in the world, but only a couple of them get drafted to the NBA. Yeah. But only the best of the best get drafted. You gotta be the best. Yeah. So you always gotta work harder than everybody else. So when I read that book, I think about, okay, like I can be good or I can be great. Yeah. I could be a popular restaurant or I can be an iconic restaurant. Yeah. And I think about what athletes do and how they train every single day and they gotta have that level of discipline. And that is the kind of discipline that I want and I need and I desire. And I learned a lot about that in the book. Yeah. Like, you know, in the book they talked about how Kobe Bryant.
Oh, listen.
Okay, like how when everybody else wanted to chill and play around, he was in the gym. Yeah. He was in the trenches. Yeah. Like he was focused on, even when he lost, he was mad. Yeah. Like he was really like locked in on being the best and there was no other option. Yeah. And that's the kind of mindset, that grizzly bear mindset that I got. And I also read that in that book and I love that. Oh, yeah. And you know what I'm also really into right now? I'm really into like researching on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Researching about the app or researching
businesses.
On the platform.
Yeah, on the platform. Yeah. Not about the app. I know about TikTok. Okay. But researching on the app about things that I didn't know. Or like how to take your business to the next level, how to franchise, what to do if this happens in your business, and really learning how to like navigate and take your business to the next level based on what the other big businesses have done. What did Raising Cane's do? What did Sweet Green do? Like, and really like channeling that research so that I can apply it to my business. Because all this really is taking something that somebody else great did and then reconstructing it and making it yours. Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of, I just love to research. Like I'm a thinker and I want to read and learn and just learn about all the things that I didn't know because I don't want to be the person in the room that don't know the information.
Listen, I know. Listen, I am that way. Yeah. I am that way. Avid reader. Favorite book of all time?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay.
And that was the very first book that I ever read.
Really? From cover to cover?
From cover to cover.
Yeah.
And my second one is Think and Grow Rich.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah. So my father had me read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the first book that he gave me. And it changed my perspective on real estate and like how some people use money in the wrong way and they don't go far. And then there's some people that are tactical with how they use money and they can go very far. And Think and Grow Rich, same way. Yeah. Another one of my books that I like are the 4 Agreements. Mm-hmm. The 4 Agreements.
Miguel Ruiz.
Rodriguez.
Ruiz.
Yeah, Miguel Ruiz is his name. Yeah.
Be impeccable with your words.
Yes. The 4 Agreements was good. One book that I really liked that I didn't read all of it, but that's the book that you go in, 48 Laws of Power, where you go in and you get a little note, boom, okay, use this and apply that, right? Yeah. But yeah, like there have been so many books that have gotten me to a really good place. My book, I Hope You Fail. Yeah. Sometimes I got to check myself and read my own book. Yeah. In moments when I feel defeated, you know what I mean?
If you just do the 10 Commandments. If you just go back and remind yourself of the 10 Commandments.
And to remind myself. Sometimes you got to do that. Yeah. And my next book, I'm working on another book right now. And it's going to be called Never Take Your Hands Off the Wheel.
Well, you learned it. You learned that lesson.
I learned.
This is your newest lesson.
It's my newest lesson.
Yeah.
And in that book, I'm going to talk about all the things that I'm going through right now. Because it's going to be a testimony to somebody.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
One word you will leave with our audience, whether they're entrepreneurs, whether they're mothers, wives, or they're just out here trying to figure life out.
If you're going to be a bear, you better be a grizzly bear. It ain't enough to just do enough. If you're going to do it, you're going to move with excellence. I don't do nothing at less than 100%.
Yeah.
If I'm going to do it, I'm going in at 1,000.
Yeah.
And if you continue to work at that 1,000 all of the time, all of the things that you want are going to come to you. Even when it looks hard, even if you ain't got no money, you got to get creative and be a grizzly bear in all that you do. Because guess what? The reason why I was able to raise $25 million, not because I just had a good brand. It was because they felt the grizzliness in me. They felt the fact that I was confident, that I believed in myself, and I was going to get it no matter what. So they wanted to be a part of that. Yeah. So if you are in business, if you are climbing the ladder in corporate America, or if you are just trying to be the bossiest mom ever, you better be a grizzly bear if you're going to do that. You're going to be the best mom. You're going to be the best janitor. You're going to be the best clerk. You're going to be the best fry cook. You're going to be the best at everything that you do, but you got to operate in that level of excellence, and all that you want is automatically going to come to you.
Yeah. Pinky Cole, it has been my pleasure. You are a phenomenal woman.
Thank you.
I mean, I am so glad we finally got to sit down with each other. Yeah, you are absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing your time with us. Be a grizzly bear. How you do anything is how you do everything. Do it with excellence. I'm your host, Brandi Harvey. Until next time, be sure to subscribe. Share this with somebody who needs a little inspiration, a little motivation, a little push to be a grizzly bear. Eat well. Give a damn. Move your body every single day. Peace.